What's up, and welcome back to another episode of Insights, the podcast built to help you with your recruitment and digital marketing. I'm joined this week by Steve Gipson. Steve, haven't seen you in a while, buddy. How we been?
Been good. Yeah, you're just looking in the wrong places, Brian. I'm around, man. Whenever you need me.
That's what it is.
Just
I mean,
call.
I see you on meetings and everything.
Yeah.
If I need a friend, just call, right?
Yeah. James Taylor. Yep.
Exactly right. I see you on meetings, I see you on Zoom, but we haven't had you on the show in a while. I think schedules didn't work out for one or two. I was trying to get you on. I brought on Haley. I brought on David. Good to have you here, though.
It's good to be here. Yeah, it's been busy. And I know you guys are feeling that on the Haley side as well, but we had good quarter at Recruiter's website, seeing some good growth. And so it just demands a little bit more of my attention. So, but yeah, no, it's good to be here. How have you been?
Things are good. Traveling a lot this year, more than I did last year. And I think a little bit more than I had initially scoped out. Was in Boston in March. I'm in Chicago in May, Nashville in, Boston, Chicago, Nashville. And like every month I'm out at a different conference this year or some sort of speaking engagement. So things are good. I'm busy with that, busy with just, dad life, still in the middle of a training block for the Buffalo Marathon coming up here. So my day is packed, but things are good, man. And I'm happy.
Good. Yeah. You'll appreciate this. So
Please.
I try to work out and do different things, but I don't run a lot. I swim for my cardio. We've talked about that before.
Yeah.
But my daughter, she's 9. And so she wants to start running a little bit. And so we could just set up it's all flat, but a little mile loop around our neighborhood. So we can try that out. And it turns out I'm in really bad shape because that mile is miserable. Like we're running and I could chalk it up to I'm running with my daughter who is doing a great job because she's running a mile and a half, and we're running it in like 12 minutes. And I'm like, oh, for Ruthie, my daughter, so she doesn't get overwhelmed. No, it's for me. Completely for me. If we ran any faster, I'd be in trouble. So I can fully appreciate someone putting in the time to learn to run and doing that a long distance, because the mile and a half is kicking my butt. So
I will say, and this will make you feel better, I think the first mile to 3 miles are the hardest. I think those warm-up miles, where even if you stretch and you do like an active warm-up ahead of a run, I think like you got to mentally get locked in. Once you hit a certain point, you sort of go on autopilot and cruise control. And that's what in my mind, that's what you're looking for, is to just like shut your brain off and just run. The first mile to me is always the hardest. So you'd probably get faster as you went on.
Okay. So I'm just going through the most miserable part.
Exactly. And giving up right during the peak of miserable. Yeah, exactly right.
Well, and that is for the benefit of my daughter, because there's no way she could do that. But I'm extremely proud that she can go a mile and a half for first couple times running. So, but
yeah, we signed my son up for Healthy Kids here in Buffalo, so he'll get to start running now. Bryce is gonna be 4, and I don't know I mean, it's not long distance by any means. I think they just sprint a little bit and run around and get tired. But we signed him up because he loves running now, because I do too. So he'll take my running watch and he'll run around the house and try to time himself on the stopwatch and ask me how many miles he's running. So, I'll say, Bryce, he always asks me how. I picked him up from school yesterday. I said, hey, buddy, I went running today. Oh, how far did you go, Daddy? I said, I did 6 miles today. Oh, 6. Good job, Daddy. 6 miles. And then he'll run 6 laps around our living room. Daddy, I did 6 miles.
What you need to do now is, if there's a week you don't feel like training, but you want your like numbers to still look accountable, just throw that on his wrist. And let him play for a while and really rack up those numbers.
I would love to put a step counter on both of them to see what they do throughout a day, because they don't sit still from 7 a.m. until 7 p.m. A step counter on my son and daughter at school and daycare would be outrageous. I would love to throw them on a number just to see what it is, because it's got to be 5,000 to 7,000, if not more.
Oh, easily. Yeah. No, and think about how little the steps are too.
Right.
They do that all the time. But yeah, it's crazy.
Right. Yeah. So Steve, getting to marketing and getting to what I wanted to talk to you about on the show, had an interesting event happen at the house a week or two ago that I think we slacked about, but I wanted to bring to the show. We had a bunch of rain. Buffalo has been miserable, buddy. I don't know what you're getting in your neck of the woods. Buffalo has been dude, these April showers better bring some Mayflowers and they better be beautiful because, buddy, we are underwater over here in Buffalo,
Isn't
New
that
York.
the general consensus of Buffalo, like throughout her duration of its existence, right? Buffalo's miserable. I thought isn't that on your guys' flag on like, welcome to Buffalo? It's miserable.
That'll be our YouTube thumbnail. Welcome to Buffalo. It's miserable here.
It's miserable.
Buddy, when I tell you it has been raining, it has been so wet the last couple weeks. So anyway, where I live, my house, we get water in our basement. It just happens. And we could fix the problem. But for me and my wife and I, we've talked about it. The cost to do it just isn't worth it because it's not that bad. It's not a finished basement. Everything is elevated. We have shelves. So it's one of these things where it's just whatever. We'll sort of squeegee the floor after and be on with it on our way. Well, anyway, a couple weeks ago, I checked before I go get my son from school. Everything's fine. Everything's dry, good, great, grand. Go get Bryce, come home. Water, the sump pump is not working, so it's getting even more water. It all hit the fan. So I text my wife. I'm like, hey, it's worse than usual. The sump pump's not working. It's not going off. I'm not a very handy guy. So I was like, I don't know what to do. I'm going to try to look at it, but Godspeed, say a prayer. So she's texted me back. She's like, well, why don't you just call somebody? Like, you don't know what you're doing. If water is getting worse, like we need to get this fixed. It's going to rain for another 2 weeks. Like there's no letting up at this point.
Right.
So I called 2 plumbers. The first, they said they can be there at some point. They don't give me any sort of timeline. The second, they say, oh, we'll be there after 4. It's like 1:00 at this time. Okay, great. I tell them both to just get here. Okay. And whatever truck shows up first is going to get my credit card.
Right.
I had an interesting thought about this, and my brain's wired, man, whereas things are happening in my life, I think about the show a lot or topics, or I think about how marketing works and how marketing's at play. And I thought about how marketing got them to get my business and get the order, but their speed and the efficiency to actually show up got my business and got the deal done.
Sure.
And Steve, what I wanted to get your thoughts on, I don't think staffing firms are deploying the right marketing to get them on that day one, there's an immediate need now list for their clients that I have to call Steve's staffing firm or Steve's recruiting firm. I don't think enough staffing firms and staffing agencies are playing the game where when it all hits the fan and your clients need to call somebody, are you number one on that list? What do you think about that?
So do you not think that those companies are have a short list already? So Steve's manufacturing facility, I have 10 guys walk off the floor. I have 5 vendors that I've used in the past. Am I not calling those 5 vendors first?
I don't know. Maybe they are, but how do I get from number 3 on that list to number 1 on that list? Or how do I get on that list? How do I come number 6 on that list?
Well, and even, potentially though too, even if they are calling, can they meet the demand? Or are they part of the issue? Are those 10 guys from one of those companies already? So maybe they need to find another vendor that then it is able to satisfy what they need at that moment. They could make those calls, but they, hey, I don't know when we can be there, or I don't know if we can do this. So they work their way down the list. So how do you get on the list, and how do you become part of that? Like you said, that kind of short list of individuals that can be there to provide that.
Yes. I think that's the question that I'm asking is, how do you get on the list, right? Like in my case, I've worked with these 2 companies already. So they were in my world. They made the list. I called them both. Presumably if company 1 couldn't show up that day, okay, you're out the door automatically. Then it turned down to, okay, well, you can both help. Who can get here the fastest and provide the best possible solution? At that point, for me, price isn't even really an option. I need the problem fixed. So to you, yeah, okay, how do we get on the list?
Yeah, and I think even too, we could make the argument in some ways, just because relationships are much different than they were 10 years ago with different businesses. Let's relate this to like a recruiter, right? So as a recruiter, I have an applicant tracking system. 10 years ago, I'm working on a search. I get a job order. The first place I go is to my applicant tracking system to find the data or a candidate that I've spoken with, that's there, that I've connected with in some way in the ATS. Today, that data is not in my ATS. It's everywhere. I go straight. The idea that every search that I do as a recruiter almost becomes a new search, or start from the beginning because of the data that's readily available through LinkedIn, Zoom Info, different products like that. So if we as recruiters are no longer relying on the data information that we've stored in the past experiences we had, I think the argument could be made is, are your employers relying on the short list that they've had, or is every search they do for a vendor, does that become a new search? Does that become a new investigation for the right partner to satisfy that issue that they have? And so if that is the case, if that is happening, how do we then become visible enough to be able to be considered or get a call so that we can provide that service for them?
It it
Go ahead.
probably does become a new search. I was gonna say it probably does become a new search if they're going into a different vertical, right? Like, let's say you place picker packers in a warehouse, and you are the picker packer person for this company, and now all of a sudden they need some sort of CNC machinist. They might not see you as that person, so they might be
Yeah.
conducting a whole new search. They're not going back to the list that they have saying, "Hey, can you also do this?" So that, I mean, that's a whole nother conversation, a whole nother list of, well, how do I get my name on multiple lists?
Yeah, you're 100% right with that. And in some ways, it blows my mind that in 2026, that staffing and recruiting companies wouldn't be thinking from this perspective of how to be as visible as possible when someone is looking to use a firm to be able to satisfy or solve that problem. Um, but I mean, you're probably right. They're probably not. Um, just because the things that you have to do to be in that position aren't an overnight or one-time action. It is a very long-term, consistent process of building content, creating marketing campaigns, understanding who your audience is, and being just in front of them every chance you can. Um, and I don't see the majority of the industry doing that. Do you?
I don't. I don't, and I think it's almost radical thinking to say that they should, because I know that it's probably only 1% of the industry, if that, that is considering this type of marketing. Honestly, the companies that are doing this are the Goliaths in the room, right? With presumably unlimited marketing budgets. I say unlimited in finger quotes if you're not watching the show, but the companies that have unlimited budgets where you can run consistent PPC, you can do all of the things because you sort of just have unlimited money. And again, I say that in finger quotes, but I think it is radical thinking to say, the small to mid-sized staffing firm in Buffalo, New York should be running a consistent marketing campaign, knowing that they might not see success from it for 3 years, but you're playing this long game of just becoming the employer of choice in Buffalo, New York, so that when somebody does need you, they know who to call. I mean, lawyers play this game. I don't need a lawyer every day, but I know if I get hurt in a car, I got to call William Matar, right? Like
Yeah,
that's a long game. And
yeah,
I hope I never get hurt in a car, but I know who to call if I do.
right.
And it's sort of this long game of marketing that I think staffing firms should be playing this game. I don't think we have anything to lose by playing this game.
No, I mean, you just, well, other than the perceived lack of ROI, right? So, because when we have those conversations, the number one question is going to be, well, what's the ROI, Brad? If I invest in my marketing, what is in 6 months, what's going to be my ROI? And so, if you're investing X amount of dollars for the 6 months, you're probably not going to see immediate ROI from the things that are there. You could. It just depends on, again, how things take traction, how aggressive you're being, how competitive your market is, what the niche is, how specific you can be. There's a lot of variables that go into that. Um, but if it's not something where there is a guaranteed or exact ROI in a process, I think people shy away from that because they've this is a generalization. Everyone that's probably listened to me talk before knows I generalize everything, but they've never given it a chance to perform. It's always been, I want to see my results in 3 months, in 6 months. And if it doesn't happen, then I'm done. And I just write off marketing that it doesn't work. And I just got to go about doing the things that I've always done and just pick up the phone and call people that I know. So I don't think that people believe what you're saying is true because they haven't experienced it and they're looking for a quicker return than what you mentioned, like a 3-year uh, uh, campaign, 3-year of just consistency to build that visibility to be available when someone's looking.
Hey, it's Brad taking a quick break to give a shout out to a team I trust deeply at Foxhire. I've known their team for over 7 years now, and if you're looking for an employer of record partner that helps recruiters confidently grow contract placements and build recurring revenue without taking on extra risk, Foxhire is perfect for you. They do it all: payroll, taxes, benefits, workers' comp, and multi-state compliance behind the scenes. You keep full control of your client relationships and bill rates, while Foxhire takes on the employer responsibility and back office work. This makes it easier to turn contract placements into predictable recurring revenue. I gotta be honest, I trust the team at Foxhire. And if you're considering an EOR partner, I'd love for you to have a conversation with them to hear how Foxhire can support your growth. You can visit foxhire.com/Haley for more information. All right, let's get back to the show. I'm trying on the fly to paint a different analogy. And I think you're right. It's one of those things where with every marketing dollar being scrutinized right now because the industry is down for 4 years and every penny needs to have a home. Sure, telling somebody that you need to create consistent content for 3 years to get an order in 2030 is a huge ask. I understand that. And I'm trying to find a different analogy to kind of bring this even deeper to our listeners, but think about a local plumber buying a list of everyone who's bought a sump pump from Home Depot in the last 6 months. Okay, those people had a need. They bought a sump pump, and now that plumber is running marketing or running an automation campaign or an automation sequence to those people. It's too late. The problem's gone. Now you can cross-sell and try to sell other services or whatever it is. Oh, hey, I saw you bought a sump pump. Well, maybe the piping or everything that goes with it needs to be looked at too, or whatever it is, or how else can we work around this, right? You sell sort of adjacent solutions. Okay. A lot of times I see staffing firms, recruiting firms, they look at job boards. They see, okay, well, Brad's widget company posted a job ad, and now I'm reaching out to try to earn their trust to help fill that role. It's not, but maybe it's too late to be reaching out at that stage of the game, right? The need has already happened. I'm thinking, okay, how do I get these companies on the list where before the pain happens, they know who to call? Like for me, I knew the 2 companies to call before my sump pump went because of the marketing that they deployed, the relationship I've already had with them in the past. I already knew that. I want to get to a point where, and I understand it's a huge challenge because of the perception of marketing. And again, every penny being scrutinized, rightfully so. But how great would it be if we had clients calling us instead of us hounding prospects?
Yeah. And I think it's realistic to expect that. I think that firms have been taught that they. So here's an analogy that came to my mind. We're not day traders. We got to stop thinking about marketing as day trading. So where you then are, from a day trading perspective, you're investing in the stock, you're selling it you're buying it on the low point of that day. You're trying to time it out. You sell it as it moves a couple dollars up. You're throwing a bunch of money at it. You make a margin, right? His statistic here, I had to look it up, but I heard this the other day from the state. From the NASAA, North American Securities Administration, 70 to 97%. It's a little bit of a range. And some will say from 80% of traders, of day traders. So 70 to 90% of day traders lose money over time. They don't win. It's not, you're not beating the house. They're losing money consistently.
Right.
We're not. So from a marketing perspective, stop trying to invest in the big wins and the short campaigns and the things that you feel like are going to be the quick ROIs, because it's almost like playing the casino. The house is going to win. You're going to lose your dollars. You're not going to see the results on it. But if you treat this as a long-term investment, it's something that you're putting resources in and slowly adding to that and continually invest in that, knowing that in 5 years, I'm going to be able to reap a 10 to 15% return of all the money I've been investing in this because I picked a good stock and I picked a good company that I believe in, then you're going to be successful in what you're doing. So if we can think of a long-term investment plan from a perspective of marketing versus being a day trader in a marketing perspective, you will see the results that you're looking for. If we would have this mindset in 2020, when we had the clients we were looking for,
yeah,
in 2026, we wouldn't be having this problem of not having clients or job orders.
I love that analogy. I love everything about that analogy. And the reason that I think we treat marketing like day trading is because it's sexier than playing the long game, right? We
100%.
want to buy, we want that one campaign that's going to drive 7 leads right now. We as a staffing firm want to send that one MPC email that leads to 6 orders. We want that sort of instant gratification. I don't want to post on LinkedIn for 3 years and hope I get an order in 2030. That's a lot of work, man. I don't want to play that long game. Who knows if I'll even be doing this in 3 years? And it's one of these methodologies where it's like, okay, that's it's just so it's so parallel to the instant gratification buzz of where the sort of human race is trajecting right now. It's a perfect analogy, Steve. I'm glad you thought of it. I would love to see us go the other way, though.
Yeah, we need to. I mean, I had a client, just an example here. So they launched a brand new firm, brand new. Um, Super excited for them, built the website. They were pumped about it. And we started actually, so we manage social media content and we do a lot of things like that. And we're helping them with their social post. Um, a month in, they're ready to cancel because they're not seeing the results that they thought they would see from an engagement perspective. Mind you, it's been 3 weeks of a brand new company with a brand new social presence and content that's being created from that specific thought process. And you're expecting, and the engagement even wasn't even bad, but they're expecting something that is going to be just, hey, I put a post out there and 30 people are beating down my door to be able to engage me from a recruiting perspective. It's not reality. But like you said, do that 3 years and over time, and all of a sudden you have a personality. All of a sudden you have a following. All of a sudden you have expertise that's been demonstrated. You have that visibility that's been there week in and week out. And when that need comes for a specific position, or whether it's recruitment or whether from a staffing perspective, your name is top of mind. And so, yeah, the change needs to happen. I'm afraid that we're never going to get there, honestly, because you look around and the things that resonates with people is the noise about kind of still the get quick rich scheme kind of concepts, or, get more clients quick. And the amount of information that's out there, especially because it's so pervasive now with AI, and these things can be created overnight and people are leveraging themselves. It's making it even more difficult for people to truly understand what a good marketing plan looks like versus something that is just a MLM kind of scheme to get their money.
You're bringing some good takes today, buddy. I think it's interesting. I think social media gurus on the social side of things related to your clients, social media gurus have ruined that for everyone. Or what they are seeing is what others are doing, and they're seeing, the influencer who posts something and gets 800 likes overnight. It's just not logical and practical for a staffing and recruiting firm to get the same sort of social engagement. I have always said, and I don't want to stay on the social take for long, but I have always said that finding your next job is so sensitive and so close to you that if you're looking for your next job, you're not going to click like when you see a staffing firm post about how to improve your resume. You might read the article, but you don't want your friends and your family members to know that you don't know how to write a resume. You don't want your current boss, who's your friend on Facebook, to see that you're looking at that article. So you consume it, but you don't engage with it. It's different content. But in a lot of ways, it's the instant gratification paired with day trading methodology, paired with this sort of I want it now and it's a scary world, bud. And I would love to spend a couple minutes here thinking about, okay, well, if we are going to go the other way, what does it look like? So for the staffing firm who says, okay, maybe I'm bought in, but maybe I'm not. What does go into a marketing strategy that gets me on that day one list long term? Maybe we can go back and forth and just share some ideas here. I'll share one, you share one. I think it starts with building online reviews and something going and in this list, Steve, why it's not sexy is it's the boring basics. It's
Right.
the things that we know work over time because it works for the local clothing store, it works for the local restaurant, it works for the local auto shop, but we don't do it because it's not getting us the order today. It's a list of boring basics, but how do you get on that day one list? You have more online reviews than your local competitor that are at a higher level than your local competitor. and you're actively adding new reviews every single day, every single week from people who actually do business with you, who know, like, and trust you. I think it's a stat, something like the average person expects to see 100 reviews for a company and 3.6 stars out of 5, I think is the number, if I remember correctly. I mean, that's table stakes. But for me, how do you get on that day one list? You have to have a reputation management strategy where you're actively gathering online reviews on sites like Google, Facebook, Indeed, rather, Glassdoor, maybe even, and working towards actively managing those. Step one. What would
Yeah.
you say is number 2 on the list?
Yeah, and I think that's great. I'm gonna go back to that too real quick, just because,
Please.
and the idea of it not doing that, and again, I've said this before, it's not overly sexy. Like you said, the things that have to be done, it's grunt work in some ways, right? It's just consistency. It's just making progress a little bit here, a little there, a little kind of concept. And people always want the sexy. They've watched one too many episodes of Mad Men. And they think, oh, this is what it's going to be like. Oh man, drinking all day and coming up with a
Yeah.
great idea. No,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah.
In reality, Draper would have died, like 3 months into the show.
Yeah.
So yes, so I agree 100%. Understanding that marketing that is successful over a long period of time to create this visibility is not a sexy endeavor. It is a consistency. It is work. Reputation management. I love it. I think, again, I'm a big believer in this and creating visibility of your website now more than ever. We are in the one of the most exciting times of website visibility from a not only SEO point of view, but also from an LLM point of view. That we've been in it a very long time. It's the opportunity. It's like a gold rush, man. In some ways, creating that content and building in the content strategy to be able to be visible for things that people are looking for, and getting those things established now with the right type of content and the right type of frequency before other companies can do that. If you were already doing these things, you're in a much better position. But even if you haven't been, starting a plan to be able to build consistency into that type of content is something that I think is vital, especially in the way people are searching through all your AI platforms, Perplexity, Gemini, Chat, even still using Google and coming up in the AI results there. All the things that the way that people are engaging, doing that and building that out is I think a really great first step to being on that short list, and building out that visibility.
Yeah, and if you're not familiar with building topical authority or building that content cluster on your website, I would encourage you to check out our episode with Sean Shinaki, where we talked about building topical authority specifically. He and I sat down for about 45 minutes and talked about some SEO best practices and how they relate specifically to building your authority in staffing and recruiting. We'll link to that in the show notes. Steve, I am going to say that it is essential to have an appropriate email sequence to your current customers, your former customers, and potentially prospects. I've heard it 2 or 3 times just this last week that clients don't want to send email because they don't like their inbox, because their inbox is getting noisier. So they don't want to send email marketing to their current customers or their former customers. And the
Okay.
reason I'm putting those in 2 buckets is because those people deserve very different messages, and we need to be aware of those audiences. It is no secret that email marketing is harder, that the email landscape is noisier than ever, and that it's difficult to cut through that noise. Just because it's difficult and just because it's noisy doesn't mean we shouldn't do it. If we follow that same methodology, we would all stop posting on social media. I think there's a stat that says at any given time you log into Facebook, they could show you 10,000 different stories, whether it's from friends, family members, ads, your requested, whatever it might be, things that you, not requested, I'm sorry, but things that they recommend for you. That first post could be 10,000 different things. It could be even more at this point. We still post on social as a company. We still post on social as individuals. Just because
Right.
it's noisy doesn't mean we ignore it. We do the opposite. We post more. It's actually kind of crazy. Email marketing, to me, when done right, is a huge unlock. And the reason that I think staffing firms ignore it is because owners see their own inboxes as getting flooded and they don't want to do the same. I don't either. I don't want to flood our prospects or our current customers or our former customers. I know this is on getting on that day one list. So our current customers with more noise. Let's send them the right messages. Let's tailor the messages to who they are, their pain points, their challenges. Let's put together a 15-touch sequence that actually talks about the hiring trends in Buffalo, New York specifically, and more importantly, what we're seeing. Let's have a take on it. Let's be customized to the local area. Let's have a voice.
Right.
I think junk email is never going to get better. So don't create junk. I mean, look at your favorite clothing companies, your favorite supplement companies, whatever it is that you buy from, shop from. They send you daily emails. I get an email and text.
Yeah.
I was just going to say, I get emails and texts from the supplements that I use. Those companies email and text me multiple times a day because they know in 30 days after my monthly supply is up that I'm going to have an option to go buy something else. I can either buy more protein from the same company or I can go buy it from 100 different ones. So they're playing this long game throughout the month so that when I'm ready to reload, I know who to go to. This is the same methodology, and we're not playing the game in staffing, and I don't know why. People aren't always hiring, but when they are, they need to know who to call, and we need to tell them who to call. So this is, for me, and sorry I got a little hot with it. For me, I think email marketing and that traditional, again, boring basics is another way to get you on that day one list. Hey, it's Brad taking a short break to tell you about an offer exclusive to listeners of Take the Stage. 30 minutes of strategic marketing consultation with me, completely free. Hey, whether you're looking to drive more sales or more job applications, I want to help. Visit bit.ly/stage offer. Pick a time that works best for you. That's it. Again, whether you want to drive more applications or more job orders, I want to help. That's bit.ly/stage offer. All right, let's get back to the show.
Yeah, I think people need to get out of their own heads. Everyone thinks they're a marketing expert, right? Everyone thinks that they understand every little nuance, everything about marketing, everything that's successful, everything that's not. It's the same thing that companies do and those that are trying to hire internally. They think they understand every little piece of your business as a recruiter or a staffing firm. Guess what? They don't, because it's just a facet of what they do, right? So if I'm an internal HR representative or even just an internal recruiter, I typically have multiple other functions other than just recruiting. And if recruiting is just a facet of the business or the job or the role that I hold, especially in today's world, they're asking people to do multiple different types of things. And so for them to perceive themselves as much of an expert in the world of staffing and finding the right candidates as you or people in your firm, there's no way. They're not. You're better at your job than they are. And so in the same way that you think, again, it's going to be harsh, but the same way that you think that you're a marketing representative or you're a marketing guru, you're not. It's a facet of what you do. So trust the people that tell you how to do this. And this doesn't mean you can't implement and do things yourself. Read a book, do research, look at the best practices, look at the things that people have been talking about since P.T. Barnum and implement those that work, right? I mean, it's silly. I mean, it's the same thing though. Right.
How do you get people to the circus? It's the same thing.
It's nothing. There's nothing new in the way that we have to create the visibility and drive people there. We have different mediums, we have different technology, but the same practices and the same kind of theory is all the same as it was. There's no difference. And so we're trying to come up with all these ridiculous ideas or things that we think don't work, so I'm not going to do them. But if you trust the processes, they don't work because you're not doing them properly, whether it's with bad messaging or inconsistent frequency. You're not doing them right. And I'm not saying you have to hire someone to do it. If you're going to do it, then do it right. Stop saying something that I'm getting a little heated here. Stop saying something doesn't work because you're bad at doing it. That's if I'm an employer, I'm going to say recruiting candidates doesn't work. There's no value in recruiters because I engage with a bad recruiter, or I tried to do it myself and I couldn't get anywhere with it. So recruiting is a useless, awful profession that has no need for me. We know that's a stupid take. We know that that's something that doesn't make sense to be able to have that kind of opinion on.
Yeah.
And so why do we have that opinion about other things that we know are actually proven methodologies if it's done properly? That goes into rebuilding your reputation, SEO and AEO. It goes into creating proper emails. It goes into creating social posts, creating things from your platform and your own personal page into your company page, being consistent in those. All these things work when you do them properly in the right frequencies and the right consistencies in the right ways. So just get out of your own head, try to get into somebody else's mind, read some content, read a book about it. And then if you can't implement it because 1, you don't enjoy it, 2, you're not good at it, 3, you just don't want to do it, hire someone else to do it so it works well for your company, and stop thinking about it as a 2-month investment. Look at it from a period of 3 to 5 years from an investment perspective, and see the results and enjoy the results. And you're going to be better, like Brad said, than 90% of the firms that are out there, whether they're big or whether they're small. You will rise to the top and you will have a successful business. I promise you, whether, again, you're doing it, someone else is doing it, if you're consistent with it and you're investing in it in the right ways and the right frequency, 5 years down the road, 10 years down the road, you're going to look up and say, wow, it worked.
Stop saying something doesn't work because you're not doing it properly was a phenomenal line. I said earlier, you brought some great takes today. That was another one.
Just give me 4 months. Give me 4 months in between episodes, man. I'm built up.
That's what it is. I'm bringing you on too much. I like where you're at though today. And in a lot of ways, I'm running right now at a really good pace, and I could be better, and I will be better if I do this for another year. But the only way to get better at running is to be on your feet. Like the only way to become a better swimmer is to get in the pool and swim. Now, you might have you can't. Like, I can't go out and run a 5-minute mile. I haven't put in enough work to give myself the opportunity to try to run a 5-minute mile. But right now, I can probably get to a certain point that I couldn't get to last year. And the only way to get there is to have more time on your feet. The only way to have a faster swim time is to be in the pool more. And I think what we overlook in business too often is we see the shiny object marketing that is positioned by influencers of, if you do this one thing, you'll get leads. I love Alex Hermosi. He's really good at promoting like the one or two things, and I get what he's doing. I get it. And I love the guy. I think he's brilliant. But there are a lot of really smart people who get you in because of the guise of you can do one thing and it'll work. If we master the boring basics and we buy into the consistent marketing that will elevate our business and sort of have this long-term trajectory, we will get on the day one list, we'll stay on the list, and then if we can have next level service that is better than our competitor, obviously all of this comes down to service. If you can't deliver, then you don't deserve to be on the list in the first place. I can't fix service delivery though. If you're on the list though, service backs it up. Now you move up the list. Now you become the day list first caller. I mean, it's to me, Steve, you hit on amazing points today, man. We're day trading instead of playing the long game and long-term investments. We're looking far too at the shiny object. We're not playing the consistency game. We're not looking at all of this, and we need to be. Buddy, I don't know where else to take this one. I think I got a little hot at sometimes. I think you got a little heated at times, but it's all for the sake of wanting to do right by the people that listen to the show. And, we talk on Insights to bring great marketing and recruitment marketing ideas to the individuals who listen. We appreciate you listening. And I think if I can sort of bring it home and certainly give you the floor if you want to try to wrap it up as well, to bring it home for me, we need to master the boring basics. We've said it on this show multiple times. I had Keely Flood on Take the Stage to talk specifically about mastering the boring basics on the sales side of things. If we can understand that consistency wins in the long run, I don't want you to feel like you feel today 2 years from now, a year from now. So put in the work today so that you don't feel like this then. Get on the day one list by playing the long game, so that people know who to call, so that people call you for your services and you're not cold calling day after day.
Right.
Steve, that's all I got, man. Anything from you?
No, I think that's great. I think it's a good summary. So
it was fun, buddy. It was great talking to you. Thanks for coming on this episode of Insights. Hey, if you have any questions, if you want to chat, we'd love to talk over here. You could message Steve or Brad on LinkedIn. We'd love to know what you're thinking about the show. We'd love to know if we can help you in any way. If you have any questions or you'd love some hands or help with your marketing, you reach out to info@haleymarketing.com. Be sure you tell them that Insight sent you. For Steve Gipson, I'm Brad Biley. We'll see you next time.